Today, pre-trial Chamber 1 of the International Criminal Court, composed of Judge Akua Kwenyehia from Ghana, the presiding judge, Judge Anita Uchaska from Latvia, and Judge Sylvia Steiner from Brazil, issued a warrant of arrest for the arrest of Omar Hassan Ahmad al-Bashir, the president of Sudan, for war crimes and crimes against humanity. Omar al-Bashir is suspected of being criminally responsible as an indirect co-perpetrator, or in the alternative, as an indirect perpetrator, for intentionally directing attacks against an important part of the civilian population of Darfur, Sudan, murdering, exterminating, raping, torturing, and forcibly transferring large numbers of civilians and pillaging their property. This is the first warrant of arrest ever issued for a sitting head of state by the International Criminal Court. Omar al-Bashir's official capacity as a sitting head of state does not exclude his criminal responsibility, nor does it grant him immunity against prosecution before the International Criminal Court, according to pre-trial Chamber 1. The majority of the Chamber, Judge Anita Uchaska dissenting, found that the material provided by the prosecution in support of its application for a warrant of arrest failed to provide reasonable grounds to believe that the government of Sudan acted with specific intent to destroy in whole or in part the Fur, Masalit, and Zarawa groups. Consequently, the crime of genocide is not included in the warrant issued for the arrest of Omar al-Bashir. Nevertheless, the judges stressed that if additional evidence is gathered by the prosecution, the decision would not prevent the prosecution from requesting an amendment to the warrant of arrest in order to include the crime of genocide. Now that a warrant of arrest has been issued for Omar al-Bashir, the judges have directed the Registrar to prepare and transmit as soon as practicable a request for cooperation for the arrest and surrender of Omar al-Bashir to Sudan and to all states parties to the Rome Statute, the founding instrument of the court, and all United Nations Security Council members that are not party to that statute, as well as to any other state as may be necessary.
Ladies and gentlemen, about 30 minutes ago, the judges of the pre-trial Chamber 1 have filed with the Registry an arrest warrant against Omar Hassan Ahmad al-Bashir on charges of crimes against humanity and war crimes. The warrant does not include the charges of genocide requested by the prosecutor. The judges issued the arrest warrant pursuant to the Rome Statute in order to ensure that Omar al-Bashir appears at his trial, does not obstruct or endanger the investigation, and in order to prevent him from continuing with the commission of crime is alleged to have committed. The judges have asked the Registry to prepare a request for cooperation seeking the arrest and surrender of Omar al-Bashir and transmit this to Sudan state parties to the Rome Statute, Security Council members not party to the Rome Statute, any other states as the registrar deems necessary. The judges have also ruled that if the circumstances so require, a provisional arrest warrant may be served on any state. I must recall that the responsibility to arrest and surrender Omar al-Bashir is on states at this point. Only states have the power and the jurisdiction to arrest and surrender suspects to the ICC in accordance with their obligation under Rome Statute, Security Council Resolution 1593, and applicable international law. The registry will immediately implement the request of the judges and will notify the request for cooperation in the arrest and surrender of Omar al-Bashir on the states that I have just indicated. The ICC relies on the cooperation of states to end impunity for the perpetrators of grave crimes that threaten the peace, security, and well-being of the world, as stated in the preamble of the Rome Statute. States now have to fulfill the obligations they undertook when entering into the Rome Statute, and when the Security Council of the United Nations, under Chapter 7 of the UN Charter, referred the matter to the court.
The judges decided today that Omar al-Bashir shall be arrested to stand trial for crimes committed against millions of civilians in Darfur for the last 5 years. His victims are the very civilians that he, as a president, was supposed to protect. In accordance with the law and in accordance with the decision the Registrar just informed to all of us, Omar al-Bashir's arrest is necessary to ensure his appearance in court, to stop him destroying evidence and committing new crimes. Omar al-Bashir's rights will be respected. The government of the Sudan is obliged under international law to execute the warrant of arrest on its territory. The court is not calling for someone else to do it. If the government of the Sudan does not execute the warrant of arrest, the UN Security Council will need to ensure compliance. The judges were clear. There is no immunity for head of states before the International Criminal Court. As soon Omar al-Bashir travels through international airspace, he can be arrested. Like Slobodan Milosevic or Charles Taylor, Omar al-Bashir's destiny is to face justice. It will be in 2 months or in 2 years, but he will face justice. The court decided. The court issued an arrest warrant. It is time to protect the victims. It is time to stop bombing civilians. It is time to stop rapes. It is a time to stop the crimes. The prosecution office will read carefully the decision. We are just informing as you at the decision, so more details will be after. I am here with the Deputy Prosecutor Fatou Bensouda, representing the entire office. We worked very hard to present this case, and we work very hard now to ensure that the arrest warrant is executed. That's our next work.